Just wanted to do a little quick video. Right now, things seem to be upside down in this world as a whole. There is fear, there's anxiety, there's stress that it's probably at a level that higher than it's ever been in some people. I will be transparent this morning and tell you that my level of anxiety, fear, and stress, it's up some. It really is. Probably over the past few weeks, it's climbed up some. And I know some of you may hear this. Well, Brother Stewart, you've always preached about what it says in the Bible to fear not, be of good courage, and you've taught about anxiety and stress, what it can do to your health, and so on. And I would say to you, you're right. Yes, I have. But let me say this: when I teach those things, when I preach those things, I'm saying that we should not allow it to dominate our lives. It should not be greater than other things in our life. So when I say my level is a little higher, I'm not saying it's dominating my thought process. It's not dominating my life. It's there. It's a little more noticeable. But I don't know. It's not dominating my life. It's not dominating my thoughts. So just to be transparent, we're all human. We're all flesh. We all, whether you agree with it or not, we all have some level of anxiety, some level of stress, some level of fear. It's our nature. But I heard a preacher say several months ago in one of his messages, he made a statement to give your thought life to God, or submit your thought life to God. And I thought, wow, that's a great thing to practice. It's a great thing to repeat, and I have repeated it, that we should give our thought life to God. And my thought life is to God. Although levels of anxiety, fear, and stress have raised a little over the past few weeks, my thought life is still God. It's still focused on Him. But I'm saying this to let you know that if you think there's something wrong with you, there's nothing wrong with you. It's natural. You're gonna fear, you're gonna have anxiety, you're gonna have stress, but don't let it dominate your life. Don't let it dominate the way, or your way of living. Because you see, that's what Satan wants to do. And he wants it to dominate, because if he can get that, if that can dominate your life, your way of living, then your praying and your reading of the Word and your fasting and so forth, it's going to dwindle down. And eventually, if you're not careful, this will grab nothing but dust, and the pages will hardly not open, because you haven't been in it enough, because you've been dwelling on the anxiety, the fear, and the stress. So don't allow it to dominate you. Don't allow it to take over your way of living. I said that in recognition that my levels have climbed. Making some decisions, that's a hard decision to make. And not sometimes, most of the time, it's heart-wrenching. to make those decisions. But this morning, as I was actually still laying in bed, and I was praying some, and I know it was God. I know He dropped this thought into my mind, my heart. I've never actually heard a verbal voice of God, that verbal voice, but I've always had thoughts dropped into my mind and into my heart, into my spirit, and I just knew it was from God. But what He spoke this morning was 6 simple words. Focus on me, not the storm. No, not some great revelation. Something we're always taught, something we've been taught from little on up, that we're to focus on God and not the things that are around us, not the storm that's raging. And right now there's a storm that's raging. I believe it's all in God's timing. I believe that when this is all said and done, I truly believe we'll see a great revival. But the flesh has allowed levels of anxiety, fear, and stress to creep up. But He spoke to me this morning and said, focus on me, not the storm. And I believe He wanted me to share that with you all, whoever will stop, watch, and listen. And I was reminded of the story of the disciples. They was out on the boat, and the sea began to rage. A storm rose up, and it was tossing the boat. And Jesus was in the mountain. He came down from the mountain, and He walked out onto the sea. I believe the Bible says the 4th watch of the night. So it was late at night. And the disciples saw it and thought it was a spirit, and they was afraid. And Jesus said, "It's I, not it is I. Don't be afraid." And Peter, he said, "Well, if it's you, Lord, then bid me to come out." And Jesus said, "Come." Peter, he stepped out of the boat. Peter walked on the water, not just calm water, but raging waters, storm sweat waters. But he walked out on the water. Yes, he began to sink. He cried out to Jesus, and what did Jesus do? He picked him up. Peter began to sink because he took his focus off Jesus and began to focus on the storm. Very simple message there. That when we take our focus off Jesus, we're engulfed, we're surrounded by the storm, and we give into the storm. And that's when our levels of anxiety, our levels of stress, our levels of fear begin to rise. If that's you this morning or this afternoon, whenever you watch this, or this evening, maybe your levels have risen. Maybe there's a little more worry there. Jesus is saying to you, focus on me, not the storm. Focus on me, not the storm. And I believe that's a message for everybody today. Focus on me, not the storm. So I encourage you to do that today. Give your thought life, give it over to God, and begin to focus on Him. The storm's going to rage, and we will feel effects from the storm throughout life as we travel through this thing we call life. But we need to keep our focus on Him and Him alone. Would you do that today? Focus on me, not the storm. Focus on Jesus, not the storm. And when the storm rages, there will be chaos, there will be confusion, there will be disappointments. There will be all those things that's going to come up on us. But if we keep our focus on Him, if we keep our focus on Him, we'll get through the storm. And won't it be worth it all when we come through on the other side of the storm? I hope this touched you. I hope this blessed you. Not some fancy words, not some nothing typed out, just from my heart today. Focus on Jesus, not the storm. And if you start to do that, those levels of anxiety, fear, and worry, they're going to be there. The stress, it's going to be there. I'm not so naive to think that they're just going to totally disappear. Some of you may totally disagree with me, but they're not going to disappear. They're going to be there. I mean, Satan's got to tempt you with something. So, but those levels of fear, anxiety, worry, stress, if you begin to focus on Him, recognizing things that are going around, recognizing all the chaos, you're recognizing that, but my focus is on Jesus. Focus on Him today, not the storm, and watch your life turn around. Watch your circumstance begin to ease because you're now focused on our Savior. I hope this did bless you today. I hope it touched you in some way. And as I conclude, or try to conclude all videos with, remember, every day, choose joy. God bless. Remember, focus on Jesus, not the storm.